Right. So in the last class, we discussed about the system databases, right? And we also discussed about the service account. So what is service account? How to create the service account? How to attach the service account in the SQL services? Okay. So all these things we discussed in the previous session. And we also discussed about the system databases, how many system databases are there, what is the use of each system database, and what master will do, what model will do, what MSDB and what tempdb will do, what is the use of the resource DB. All these things we discussed in the previous session. And I also gave you an assignment, right? What are the other ways to connect to the instance other than the four ways that we discussed yesterday? So what are the other ways to connect to the instance? Anyone tried, guys? Any other way other than the four ways we discussed to connect to the instance? Anyone tried?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Ashu, tell me.
Yes, sir. With the sir IP address we can
So
log
IP
in.
address
IP
and
address and the port number, sir.
okay. Any other way? What about others, guys? Anyone tried? No one? Just close the laptop and again open the laptop today morning at 7 a.m. Right? Just check it once. There are other ways also to connect to the instance. What are the other ways? Okay. So we can connect to the instance, like we can connect to the instance using computer name, using dot, using local host. Other than these four ways, we have two three more ways are there to connect to the instance. So what are the other ways to connect to the instance? Just tell me. So the same assignment. Okay, I'll not tell you. It's the assignment questions are only for you. Okay, I'll never tell the assignment questions that you have to practice, you have to work, and you have to put some efforts. I'll not tell the answer for the assignment questions. If you don't know the answer, that's okay. You are going to carry the same thing. But assignment is an assignment that you have to complete, right? And then what we can do now, we'll discuss about the order, like whatever things are there. Yesterday I said like when you start the SQL server, in what order the system databases will start, and also we will discuss about the IDs, database IDs. And today we'll go little deeper. Okay, we'll try to create the database. While creating the database, what and all components you can see, how the hierarchy will be, how the physical hierarchy, how the logical hierarchy. Okay, so all these things will be discussed in today's session. And in the evening, we will have a test. In the evening, we will have a test. So that is simple. You have to set up the whole, okay, infrastructure. Like you have to create the virtual machine again. You have to install the Windows server. You have to install the SQL server. You have to install SSMS. Okay, and you have to change the service account either during the installation or after the installation. Okay, so this is the test we have today evening, 7 p.m. IST, and for others, I mean for US people, it will be tomorrow morning, 9:30 EST, the next class. So I'll group them together like 4 5 people in one group. I'll separate into groups. I'll create separate rooms. In each room, 4 5 people will be there. You have to discuss. One person is going to share the screen, and the other four people has to help him. Okay, you have to discuss and you have to complete the installation, guys. This is a team building activity. Okay, so this we can discuss it maybe at the end of the session. So in the evening class we will have this test, so don't worry, the others also will be there to help you out. So this is the test, but again just practice it. So we'll see 4 5 teams, I'll create it, we'll see which team will win. Okay, clear, guys? right? So please be prepared, and we'll see in the evening. Okay, so which team will win? Simple, whatever we discussed till now, the same thing. Okay, the test will be there, the same thing. So nothing to worry. It's easy only. We'll see as it is easy. We'll see at least one team. Okay, will take less time to build all these things and all. We'll see which team will win. Okay. Fine, let's continue, guys. So, in the last class, we discussed about the system databases. So, let's continue the same. And now, tell me, guys, in which order the system databases will start when you start the SQL Server? Tell me.
Sir, first master database, sir.
Okay,
Second model.
okay,
Third TempDB.
okay,
Fourth all the other databases. And I
okay.
think I read MHDB is the last database. 32,767 is
MSDB. Huh?
not MHDB, resource DB.
Okay,
Uh, after temp we have MHDB, I think.
okay,
Then all the user databases. The last is resource.
okay. What about others, guys?
Sir, master, temp,
Okay, okay,
model,
okay,
uh, one more, one more DB, then SSDB.
okay,
MSDB,
MSDB, 10 DB. MSDB, SSDB. 10 DB already told.
okay,
model DB.
okay. 1 minute, guys. One minute. Just 1 minute. Oh, the office issue is there. Fine. Okay. So let me connect to the server and then connect. So if it is taking time, guys, what you have to do when you're connected to the server, if it is taking time or if you're getting any error, always check the
Check the
status.
services.
Yeah, always check the status of the services. So make sure the SQL services are up and running, especially the database engine is up and running. Okay, so let me go and start the service. Generally, as we are the the OS that we are using is not a licensed version; it's a free version. Okay, the OS, the operating system Windows Server 2019 that we are using is not a licensed version. So it's a free version. So Shanmukh in the organization also every time I have to start like this, not required. So in the organizations will use licensed versions only. So services will not stop when you stop the server. As and that too, we are stopping the servers after every class, right? So again, you have to start it. Generally in the organization, the servers will be up and running 24/7. So no need to start every time like this because hundreds and thousands of servers you have to handle. So you cannot go and start each and every server, right? So that is the reason. So we are using unlicensed version of the Windows server. So you have to start the service manually. So I'm starting the same. So named instance is up and running. Default instance is down. So I'm starting the default instance. Okay, let me go to Management Studio and then let me connect. Okay, and connect. Right. Fine. So in what order the system databases will start, guys? For that, what you need to know the dependency. Okay, the dependency you need to know first, as discussed yesterday. So the system databases dependency, how it will be. Okay, so master is a critical system database. So after master, what is the next critical system database, guys? TempDB. And resource, of course, anyhow, resource DB, TempDB. These are all critical databases. Fine. So, but there is a dependency to TempDB on model DB, correct? So, once model is online, as I said yesterday, whenever you restart the SQL server, a new TempDB will be created, correct? Whenever you restart the SQL server, a new TempDB will be created. So in such scenario, how the new TempD will be created? On what basis the new TempD will be created? Based on the model properties, correct? Based on the model DB properties, the TempD will be created. So if model is not coming online before TempDB, how come TempDB can be created? If TempDB can't be created, how come SQL Server can start, guys? So there is a dependency for TempDB on model DB. So now what is the order? Sheikh, tell me now what is the order?
Master DB, model DB, temp DB.
Now is it clear?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So the first system database that will start. Okay. Starting order of system databases. Okay. First master will start, guys. Okay. First master. Master is a critical system database. Master knows all the other databases, data files and log files. Okay, other databases including system database. Let me add this point. Okay, master knows other databases, data files and log files locations including system databases. So system databases. So if model has to come online, if MSDB has to come online, means when SQL Server is starting, okay, let me tell you a little introduction I'll give you. So for example, okay, this is the model DB, right? So if you go to the properties of this model DB, generally, you can see file space, file space. Okay, if you go to file space for every database, and anyhow we will discuss in this session, for every database, as I said, two files will be created minimum. One is data file, second one is log file. Okay, one is data file, second one is log file. This is minimum and mandatory. Without these two files, no database can survive. Remember this point, very important. What are the uses of these two files? I'll tell you. So without these two files, even though that is a system database or even though it's a user database, without these two files, there will be no existence of the database, guys. So when you are starting the SQL server, when you are starting the SQL server, first master will start. Not all system databases will start at a time. First master will start. Master knows the paths of the other system databases. Okay. So in this path, take this path, Control C, Windows or Control V, enter. In this location, whether these two files, model.mdf, model log.ldf, is existed or not, it will check. Okay, when you are restarting the SQL server or when you are starting the SQL server, in this location, whether these two files are existed or not, it will check. If you delete any of these two files or if you delete these two files, SQL server will not start. Why? Because in this location there is no system database. So then how this location, how SQL server is able to recollect this location? What are the paths of other system databases? What are the paths of the user databases? How it is able to recollect when it is starting the SQL server? Master will store this information. When you start master, then master will verify as per the respective locations the files are there or not. So one database should be there, right, to store all this information. So that is your master database. So master knows paths of other system databases, paths of other user databases. When you are starting the SQL server, master will go and check whether in this location files are there or not. If files are not there, SQL server will not start. Okay, Shanmugh? Okay, now fine. But how master? Master is also a database, right? Master also should have a data file and log file, right? And you are saying master will start first. But how SQL server knows where the master data file and where the master log file? How it knows? Any idea, guys? Once master comes online, then it will check the other system databases paths. That is okay. But when you are starting the SQL server, first master will start. If any database has to start means in the particular location, the data file and log file should be there. But how SQL server will come to know that about the master database data file and log file? Without master, the other system databases will not start. But if master has to start means master files also should be there in that location, right? That how SQL server knows that? Any idea?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Startup parameters.
Very good. Okay, that is called startup parameters. Where I can see the startup parameters, guys? Where I can see the startup parameters? If you go to configuration manager,
Configuration man.
yeah, go to configuration manager. There you can see, go to SQL Server Services and go to the database engine properties. This is the main service. Go to database engine properties and there is a tab called startup parameters. See, when you start the SQL server, first these three files will be started. Master database data file, if you see here, master database data file will be represented with .mdf. Data file will be represented with .mdf, master.mdf. Then master database log file, master log.ldf. Log files will be represented with the extension of .ldf. Then error log file to write everything where it was stuck and all. Okay, to log everything, error log file. These three files are very important files. When you start the SQL server, first these three files SQL server will check, the database engine will check in this location the files are there or not. In this location the files are there or not. -D means data file. -E means error log file. -L means log file. Okay, it will starts like this: -D, -E, -L. So in this location, if you go and copy paste this location up to here, Control C, Windows R, Control V, the same location. So master files are there or not? Okay, master DB data file is there, master log file is there, and error log. Where is the error log, guys? And sometimes the interviews they will ask, my SQL server is not able to start. What is the reason? What can be the reason? If any of these three files are missed, don't open this error file directly. We can, okay, Windows R, Control V, just go to till log location. See error log file, this file. So can you tell me when my SQL server started, guys? Can you tell me at what time the SQL server is started?
722.
Very good. You can see the timestamp, error log file timestamp, 7:22 it was started. Today morning 7:22 it was started. You can see just by looking at the timestamps means when you start the SQL server, these files will start. You can see date modified 7/22. So in this way, you can able to identify when the SQL Server is started. So when you start the database engine, first it will check in this location master DB data file is there or not. Okay. Then in this location error log file is there or not. Okay. Then in this location master DB log file is there or not. First these three files it will check, guys. If it found these three files, then only SQL Server will start. If you don't have access to this folder or drive where these three files are presented, then also SQL Server will not start. That is called permission issue. That is called permission issue, guys. Okay, is it clear? Once these three files are started, means once master comes online, then master knows the other system databases file paths. Then master will check in the other locations whether the data files and log files are present or not for model DB. Then it will immediately start model database. Once model database is started, then the next important system database is temp DB. So it will check, okay, the temp DB. In the temp DB, it will, of course, it will start a new temp DB as model is started. It will create a new temp DB, and then finally MSDB. In this order the system databases will start, guys. In between, after master, actually master and resource both are wife and husband kind of thing, guys. Okay, master and resource both are wife and husband kind of thing, resource database. So you cannot leave wife or husband, right? So they both, after master immediately resource will start or both will start at a time. Next important is model DB. Okay, and then based on the model database properties, temp DB will start, and finally MSDB will start, and user databases will come to online, guys. But any database is coming to online means you have to remember one thing. First, the files of these databases should be there in that location. For example, if you go to this Amazon database properties, and if you go to files location, so when you are starting the SQL Server, so in this location, whether these two files are there or not, it will check. Master will store this path information, right? So when SQL Server is online, so the same concept, how system databases will come online in the same way. So Amazon files are present in that location or not. This path, master will store this path. So in that location, SQL Server will check these files are there or not, these files are accessible or not. So if the files are accessible, then immediately SQL Server will start, guys. I mean, the user databases will start. Because see, even though system databases are started, sometimes user databases will not come online because of maybe permission issue, or in that location, maybe if any file is missing, or maybe if this file is corrupted, there is a chance that is a file, there is a chance that files can be corrupted sometimes. Okay, so the file should be present, permission should be there, files should not be corrupted. These three are main important things that any database, okay, should come online. For coming online, these three are most important, okay, properties, guys. Then only if it is satisfying these properties, then only that particular database, either it can be a system DB, either it can be a user database, can come online, guys. These things are very important. Okay, clear, guys, everyone? So now in which order the system databases will come online, guys? Now tell me. Tell me, guys, in which order system databases will come online? Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure.
In which order
Master
system
database.
databases will come online?
Master database, resource database, model
Model
database, template database.
MSDB users database.
User databases. Okay, so in this way the databases will come online, guys. So now let's discuss about the IDs. Okay, database IDs. This is not so important, but okay, sometimes interviews, there is a chance that interviews will ask this question also. Okay, so database IDs. So which ID? I mean, system databases, we have master, we have model, we have MSDB, we have temp DB, and we have user database, and we have resource DB also. So remember one thing, in SQL Server, every object will have ID. In SQL Server, Every object will have ID. Databases will have database ID. Tables will have object ID. Jobs will have job ID. Logins will have SID, security identifier. So every object in the SQL server will have an ID, guys. That is important. Using that ID only, it will be tracked. Okay. So databases also will have database IDs. So what are the database IDs for system database? Okay, master, guys. Generally IDs will starts from 1. Okay, tell me the master database ID. Okay, tell me the master database ID, guys. Which is the most important database, system database in SQL Server?
Master. It
Master,
will be
right?
one then.
So master database ID is 1. Very good. Next, which system database will come? What is the second system database having ID 2? Tell me, guys. Guess it.
Resource database.
Resource database. Okay. Next, any other try? Okay, good. You are giving importance to husband. So as per you, okay. Resource should be second, right? Okay.
Model database.
Model DB. Next.
Yeah.
Okay. The next important database is tempdb. Okay, which is ID 2. Okay, the order is different, IDs are different. Remember one thing. Okay, order is different, IDs are different. So after master database, the next important system database is, which will help you to process the data, to sort the data, is tempdb. So the tempdb ID is 2. Then model DB. Okay, model DB ID is 3. MSDB ID is 4. And resource DB ID is, you can guess it now. You can guess it. Is it 5, 6, 7? Resource DB ID is 32,767. Shanmukh. Okay, where I can see that? Go to this new query window. Generally in the SP help DB, you can only see all the system databases and user databases. Okay, in the SP help DB, you can see the IDs, but you cannot see the resource DB ID. This is an important interview question. Okay, where we can see the resource DB ID. What is the resource DB ID and where we can see that? You can see here master. You can just drag this column wherever you want. You can just drag this column, guys. Okay, no issues. So master DB ID is 1. Then tempdb ID is 2. Then model DB ID is 3. MSDB ID is 4. Then user databases IDs will start from 5. So Amazon 5. If I create second user database, Flipkart 6. If I create another user database, Meesho 7. If I create another user database, Azio 8. If I create another user database, PhonePe 9. If I create another user database, GPay 10. Like that it will go. So 5 from user databases IDs will starts from 5. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like that it will go. So where I can see the resource database ID, guys? Can you tell me? Can anyone tell me? Yesterday we have seen using one query.
Salt files.
Yes, Jonas?
Salt files.
Select
Being folder.
from
System services.
sys.system services. Sys.sysalt files and select this and execute this. So you can go down and you can see resource database. Okay, just double click on this column. You can see the file names also. MS SQL system resource.mdf, MS SQL system resource.ldf. You see, guys, DB ID column. How much? What is the resource DB ID, guys? 32,767. That you can see only in the select star from sys.sysalt files. You cannot see in the SP help DB. And one more query is there to see all the databases. information. What is the other query, guys? What is the other select query? That is a select query. What is the select query? We have to see all the databases information. Can you guess it?
SP _ LTV.
SPN LDB is a stored procedure. I'm asking select query. Select query is to see all the
Sys database files.
sys.database.
Sys databases or sys databases.
Sys.databases. Okay. Select star from sys.databases will give you all the databases related information like file names, database IDs, everything. Okay. So the status of the database, whether online, offline, everything it will show you guys. Okay. So this is how you can see the IDs. Okay. So guys, remember this is very important. Anyhow, you know master DB ID is 1. Okay. Master DB ID is 1. You know that master is very critical database. And of course, resource DB. Okay. Generally, as it is a hidden database. So as per Microsoft strategy, they gave the ID as 32,000. But don't think that as per the priority. As priority wise, resource is the second priority database. Okay. And then your temp DB. So how to remember this? Master you can remember easily, that is 1, and model and MSDB MM will come together. Okay, you know that MSDB is 4, MSDB 4 characters are there, so MSDB is 4. As MSDB and model comes together, so MM, so if MSDB is 4, model is of course 3 only. So the pending database which is tempdb, so 2 only. In this way you can try to remember blindly. In case if you can't remember, just use this as a shortcut to remember, guys. Okay, clear? And I have one more important question for you. What is MS stands for in the MSDB? What is MS stands for in the MSDB? What is the abbreviation of MS? Okay, this is the assignment question, guys. Check and let me know the answers by next class. What is the abbreviation of MSMS stands for what in MSDB? Is it Microsoft? Is it something else? Okay, so let me know the answer by today evening. Okay, by next class you can tell me the answer, guys. Right, so now what we can do, I want to create the table, guys. I want to create the table. So now let's discuss little internals. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me stop the recording.